This needs to stop now.
So if you've got testicles hanging from the back of your truck, understand this doesn't send a signal of strong masculinity. Nope, I'd say for most people, this screams, this guy is compensating for something. And this is coming from a truck guy who, yes, at one point bought oversized tires and had a Texas brush grill on the front, which to my defense was very useful when I hit a couple deer here in Wisconsin. Seriously, minimal damage to the truck and those deer flew right over the top of my vehicle. But the testicles? Come on guys, what's the functional purpose? But seriously gents, at some point in all of our lives, we've dealt with confidence issues. And to be clear, that is perfectly normal. However, there's a good chance you're making at least one of these mistakes that can make you come off as insecure. And a man signaling insecurity can turn off women and can turn away opportunity. So the first signal of an insecure man is that you can't take criticism without becoming defensive. And I get it. The person criticizing you is an idiot. That being said, you getting overly defensive shows that you're reactionary and most likely you don't have confidence in your own beliefs. And believe me, as a guy for over a decade has put himself out there on the web, I've received a lot of unsolicited feedback. People telling me how to run my channel, how to run my business, mistakes that I'm making in these videos. Now here's the deal. I am far from being perfect, and so are you. And to me, that's the sign of a confident man, a man who's secure in who he is. He knows that he is imperfect. He's a work in progress and he's going to make mistakes. So deep down, I know some of this unsolicited advice I'm receiving is actually correct. Maybe they don't know the full situation. Maybe they don't understand my reasoning, but the majority of people that are actually giving me some advice are actually looking out for our best interests, even though sometimes it's pretty harsh. And I think for a lot of insecure guys, that's where it really stings because they haven't taken the time to truly maybe examine the situation. They know deep down that they've made a mistake or that they're going in the wrong direction. And when they receive that critical advice, that critical feedback, they know that there is a kernel of truth in it. A confident man understands he's not perfect. And this does take practice, but just take that criticism, just take it with a grain of salt. Nod your head, accept it, maybe try to learn a little bit from it and move on. But don't let that criticism push you in a direction you didn't intend to go that day. The next insecure mistake that you could be making, and I know I've made in the past, is you're seeking the approval of others. What to study in school? Let me ask my friends and family. Where to take my career? Again, let me ask my friends, let me ask my family. What to wear today? Let me check with my girlfriend. Should I go with the house special or just grab a hamburger? What do you think? Now let me be clear. There is nothing wrong with talking to people you love and respect about a big decision you're going to make so that they can help point you in the right direction. But if you're using this as a crutch so that you don't have to be responsible for your own decisions, that's where insecurity is an issue. You see, a lot of us are scared of the fact that our lives are a cumulative result of the decisions we make. And in most situations, how we end up, that is because of our own decisions. And I understand there are many things out of your control. That being said, we do have a lot of power and a lot of influence into where we end up in life. And an insecure man doesn't want to take on that responsibility. So how to overcome this? Well, two things really helped me out, and that is understanding most decisions are a revolving door decision. What that means is that you can step forward and you can actually step back. If it's the wrong decision, even most relationships, I mean, even marriage, you can actually step out of that nowadays. Now, there are some decisions, like whether or not to have a child, that you can't undo. That being said, most decisions in life are revolving doors. So if you make a mistake, you can quickly take a step back, but you got to have the courage to be able to take it back to understanding you do make mistakes, getting to our earlier point, and be willing to move on. The other one is understanding that not all decisions have the same weight. There are some pretty big decisions in our life, and those are the ones that you do want to take time. You want to actually walk through and look at the different scenarios, maybe give yourself a bit of time before you dive into it. Now, being a style channel, I do want to talk about style mistakes that guys make that make them look insecure, and probably the biggest one is that they're fidgeting with their clothing. They put something on and they're checking in the mirror, they're adjusting it. You could just tell this person is uncomfortable in what they're wearing. To me, this is a clear signal this person hasn't practiced wearing this outfit. If you're going to be dressing for an interview, if you've got an important event, I highly recommend that you wear something that you're comfortable in. How to become comfortable, a little bit dressier clothing, practice wearing it. Find occasions that you can actually wear a suit. You're going out with your spouse on a date. There's nothing wrong with actually dressing up. When a man hasn't practiced wearing nice clothing, and that could just simply be a collared shirt, all of a sudden it's unfamiliar. He's checking in, wanting to make sure it looks good, and he's doing it a bit too much. And all of this kind of gives this insecure feeling that he is not comfortable in the outfit he's chosen. And let me be clear, there's nothing wrong with looking at yourself in the mirror right before you go out. Whenever you go to the bathroom, make sure everything's put together. You zipped back up the pants, which I have made that mistake. Nothing stuck in the teeth in the bathroom. Point being, though, you don't want to be going and checking all the time just because you're worried about, hey, is this too tight? And at this point, you may be thinking, Antonio, well, how do I know if my style measures up? Well, guys, I've got a style score. Yes, a quiz that you can take. We're going to give you an exact number, a breakout of what your style score is. And I'm going to link you also to Real Men Real Style. That's my website. Tons of free infographics, great detailed articles that go into a lot more detail than we ever are able to cover in these videos. So go explore Real Men Real Style. I've created this free resource for you so that you can become the man you know yourself to be. Find out your style score. Use that link in the description of today's video. And if you know your style score, leave it in the comments below. I'd love to see what it is. Next up, we've got over apologizing. Now, some of you guys just may be Canadian. You know, you guys apologize for everything. No, my Canadians, I love you guys. You guys, like, it's always amazes me how some of the most successful people here in the United States actually came from Canada. Point being is, if you find yourself always apologizing, you may want to take a step back and say, am I overdoing this? And it's hard for us to see it sometimes. Sometimes we just feel it's good manners. It's simply the way we are. It's a habit, but there are ways to step out of it, because here's the deal, is that you probably have some strong opinions. You have some beliefs, and they're going to offend. They're going to upset others. In most cases, there's nothing wrong with expressing or realizing that you're in the wrong crowd. You're in the wrong situation. You are in the wrong area, and you need to get up and leave because this is making you uncomfortable. You don't support it, and you don't want your presence to show that you're supporting it, and you don't have to apologize for that. You just need to get up and walk. Never apologize for being yourself. Now, right with over apologizing, we've got avoiding conflict altogether. And I get it, because it can be hard to have those conversations. You want things to flow smooth. Now, I know personally, one of the reasons I avoid conflict is because most things that maybe I disagree with somebody on, they honestly don't matter. And that's important to note, because honestly, if it doesn't matter, then is it even worth your time having the discussion and going into the fight? However, there is the realm of very important and critical. In these two areas, you do need to make a decision, especially depending on how close the person is. Is this something I need to actually, seek resolution? So as you can see with this matrix we're putting together here, the other side is, does it matter with the person? If it's a complete stranger, it doesn't matter if it's super important to you. It's not worth you probably having a fight with this person that could lead to something else if, who cares what this person thinks? That being said, if it's someone you're in a chosen relationship with, maybe your future spouse, someone that you've just been dating for a while, that is probably, it's a little bit more critical to have this discussion, especially, if, hey, you could possibly have a kid together. Who knows what the future holds for you? Family is a little bit mixed, and I am going to add this third category here because you're stuck in a relationship with them, and sometimes, even though it's really important, you realize, you know what, we're just not going to go there. I don't always see eye to eye with my sisters, and I've realized, you know what, there are just some things we're just not going to discuss. We're not going to go. So there's so many other places we can have good discussions. So as you can see in the matrix here, not all conflict is the same. You're going to want to be careful about where you choose. To me, it's going to be about focusing in on when you've got that chosen relationship. And this could be with your child. This could be with your spouse. This could be with someone that is a good friend you spend a lot of time with. In that case, maybe, you would, if you disagree with them on a critical issue, you're probably going to want to have that discussion. That being said, don't skip this section. And I learned this, actually, I was reading the book Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey, and I loved this point about your job in a discussion is not to convince the other person that you are right and that they're wrong. It's actually just simply to make sure that you are understood. You can't change that other person's mind. And Matthew talked about like how he was watching these two people have a debate. He jumped in with his opinion, and the other guy didn't know who he was. He scolded him. He said, hey, I'm not here for you to back me up. Like, my thing is, I want this other person to understand my point of view, and so they can see things, not that they're going to change their opinion. And it really struck him. And it struck me when I heard that, because so many times you're having that debate and you're trying to convince somebody that they are wrong and you're right, versus just making sure that they understand where you're coming from, because you can still be great friends. You can be in an amazing relationship with somebody, and they're on the opposite side of politics. They're on the opposite side of, certain beliefs, big beliefs. But if you both understand where you're coming from and the reasoning for your belief, and you both accept that, you can still have a great relationship. Next up, let's talk about eye contact. So we're talking here in the United States. I know in different parts of the world, maybe with somebody you respect, you don't make as much eye contact. But here in the United States, if you're not making eye contact with people about 60 to 70% of the time when it's a one-on-one, if it's a group conversation, it's okay for about 70, 60% for you just to make it with the group, and then to like be looking off and thinking about something. It can show disrespect. It can also show that they will consider you to be weak if you can't make the eye contact. Now, I get it. Again, takes practice, especially people not from this culture, or if you just are a very shy person. You're very much attracted to that woman, and it's difficult to make eye contact with her. You've got to practice, put in the reps. Anyone been in this situation where you've got someone that's being aggressive, almost in your face with eye contact? In that case, it's difficult, and you don't want to look away because they'll sucker punch you. And yeah, you want to maintain eye contact. The trick here is actually to look at their eyebrows, because you're still, not necessarily, it's not as intimidating, and you give this like deadpan look. Like, can you guys see it now? I'm kind of looking a little bit above. Yeah. You're looking in their direction. They know that you're looking at them, and you can start to back off, and you're just keeping aware of where that person's at. Now, with eye contact, let's talk about body posture. So you don't want to be making yourself small. In general, when you look at people and they're hunched over, they look like they're making themselves smaller, they just seem like they're trying to minimize themselves. I'm not saying for you to, spread yourself out all over the subway. Point being is roll those shoulders back. Nothing wrong with pressing that chest out, presenting your best self, standing up straight. All of this sends a signal that you're confident, that you are strong, powerful. You don't want to try to minimize yourself. Yeah, not a good look for most guys. And let's talk about negative self-talk. So you've got this voice in your head that's always telling you you're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You're not strong enough. You don't have what it takes. And understand, this voice is actually something that has been there for a long time. It has helped us survive. Human beings are naturally, I think, a little bit pessimistic because we don't want to take too much risk. Most of those things that were truly considered a danger back then don't exist or were removed from now. So that voice is it's being overplayed. Really, what you want to ask yourself is, if somebody else were to tell you that you're not strong enough, that you're not smart enough, how would you react? And I think for a lot of us, we'd say, to hell with that. Of course I can do it. Yeah, I'm going to prove them wrong. Well, here's the deal. That's your voice. And simply say, I hear what you're saying, and I'm going to compartmentalize you. I'm going to put you away, and I'm going to prove you wrong. And even if I fail, I will at least give it the sacred effort. Have you ever heard of this? So the sacred effort is when you've put in your best. You've given everything you got. And even if you fail, you can rest assured knowing that, hey, I tried my damnedest. All right, gentlemen, so what video to watch next? How about if you're struggling with loneliness? I talk about my story here, how I struggled with loneliness. I'm still working to overcome it, and I think you'll enjoy this video because there was a huge loneliness epidemic going on right now, and something for us to talk about. Guys, check it out. Good video right here.